Scriptures, the second book of Adam and Hawwah, Adam and Eve 2, chapter 17. Then Yered kept his father's commandment and arose like a lion over his people. He fed them in righteousness and innocence, and commanded them to do nothing without his consent. This was because he was afraid for them, that they should go to the children of Cain. He gave them orders repeatedly, and continued to do so until the end of the 485th year of his life. At the end of these years there came to him a sign, as Yered was standing like a lion before the bodies of his fathers, praying and warning his people. Satan envied him and produced a beautiful specter, because Yered would not let his children do anything without his counsel. Satan appeared to him with 30 men of his hosts, in the form of handsome men. Satan himself was the oldest and tallest among them, with a fine beard. They stood at the mouth of the cave and called out Yered, who was in the cave. He came out to them and found them looking like handsome men, full of light and very beautiful. He was in awe of their beauty and their looks, and wondered to himself whether they might not be of the children of Cain. He said also in his heart, "The children of Cain cannot come up to the height of this mountain, and none of them are this handsome as these appear to be, and among these men there is not one of my kindred, so they must be strangers." Then Yered exchanged a greeting with them, and he said to the oldest among them, "My father, tell me how you are so wonderful, and tell me who these are with you. They look to me like strange men." Then the oldest began to weep, and the rest wept with him, and he said to Yered, "I am Adam, whom Elohim made first, and this is Hevel my son, who was killed by his brother Cain, whose heart was influenced by Satan to murder. And this is my son Sheth, whom I asked Yahweh to give me to comfort me when I no longer had Hevel. Then this one is my son Enosh, son of Sheth, and that other one is Canaan, son of Enosh, and that other one is Mahalalel, son of Canaan, your father." But Yered remained wondering at their appearance and at the words of the elder to him. Then the oldest said to him, "Do not stand there in awe, my son. We now live in the land north of the garden which Elohim created before the world. He would not let us live there, but placed us inside the garden below which you are now living. After I transgressed, he made me come out of it, and I was left to live in this cave. That was when great and horrible troubles came on me, and when the time of my death drew near, I commanded my son Sheth to tend his people well, and my commandment is to be handed from one to another to the end of the generations to come. But Yered, my son, we live in beautiful regions, while you live here in misery. Your father Mahalalel informed me that a great flood would come and overwhelm the whole earth. Therefore, my son, fearing for your sakes, I rose and took my children with me and came here to visit you and your children. I found you standing in this cave weeping, and your children scattered about this mountain in the heat and in misery. But, my son, as we missed our way and came as far as this, we found other men below this mountain who inhabit a beautiful country full of trees and of fruits and of all manner of lush green vegetation. It is like a garden. When we found them, we thought they were you, until your father Mahalalel told me they were no such thing. Now, my son, listen to my advice and go down to them, you and your children. You will rest from all this suffering you are in. If you will not go down to them, then arise, take your children and come with us to our garden. There you shall live in our beautiful land, and you shall rest from all this trouble which you and your children are now living in." But when he heard these words from the oldest, Yered was confused and went here and there, but at that moment he found none of his children. Then he answered and said to the old one, "Why have you hidden yourselves until this day?" And the oldest replied, "If your father had not told us, we would not have known it." Then Yered believed his words were true, so that oldest said to Yered, "Wherefore did you turn about so and so?" And he said, I was seeking one of my children to tell him about my going with you and about their coming down to those about whom you have spoken to me." When the old one heard Yered's intention, he said to him, "Do not worry about that right now, but come with us, and you shall see our country. If the land in which we live pleases you, we shall all return here and take your family with us. But if our country does not please you, you shall come back to your own home." And the old one urged Yered to go before one of his children came to talk him out of his decision. Yered then came out of the cave and went with them and among them, and they comforted him until they came to the top of the mountain of the sons of Cain. Then the old one said to one of his companions, "We have forgotten something by the mouth of the cave, and that is the chosen garment we had brought to clothe Yered with." He then said to one of them, "One of you go back, and we will wait for you here until you come back. Then will we clothe Yered, and he shall be like us, good, handsome, and fit to come with us into our country." Then that one went back, but when he was a short distance off, the old one called to him and said to him, "You stay there until I come up and speak to you." Then he stood still, and the old one went up to him and said to him, "One thing we forgot at the cave. It is this. We forgot to put out the lamp that burns inside the cave above the bodies that are in there. Do it and come back to us quickly." That one went, and the old one came back to his fellows and to Yered, and they came down from the mountain, and Yered was with them, and they stayed by a fountain of water near the houses of the children of Cain, and waited for their companion until he brought the garment for Yered. Then he who went back to the cave put out the lamp, and came to them, and brought an apparition with him, and showed it to them. And when Yered saw it, he wondered at the beauty and grace thereof, and rejoiced in his heart, believing it was all true. But while they were staying there, 3 of them went into houses of the sons of Cain, and said to them, "Bring us today some food by the fountain of water for us and our companions to eat." But when the sons of Cain saw them, they were in awe at them, and thought, "These men are beautiful to look at. We have never seen such before." So they rose and came with them to the fountain of water to see their companions. They thought them so very handsome that they called aloud about their places for others to gather together and come and look at these beautiful beings. Then they gathered around them, both men and women. Then the old one said to them, "We are strangers in your land. Bring us some good food and drink, and bring yourselves and your women, so we can entertain ourselves with you." When those men heard these words of the old one, every one of Cain's sons brought his wife, and another brought his daughter, and so many women came to them, every one calling out to Yered either for himself or for his wife. But when Yered saw what they did, his very soul wrenched itself from them, and he would not taste their food or their drink. The old one saw him as he wrenched himself from them, and said to him, "Do not be sad. I am the great elder. As you shall see me do yourself in like manner." Then he spread his hands and took one of the women, and 5 of his companions did the same in front of Yered, that he should do as they did. But when Yered saw them doing their wickedness, he wept and said in his mind, "My fathers never acted like this." He then spread his hands and prayed with a fervent heart and with much weeping, and begged Elohim to deliver him from their hands. No sooner did Yered begin to pray than the old one fled with his companions, for they could not abide in a place of prayer. Then Yered turned round, but could not see them, but found himself standing in the midst of the children of Cain. He then wept and said, "O Elohim, do not destroy me with this race, concerning which my fathers have warned me. For now, Yahweh, my Elohim, I was thinking that those who appeared to me were my forefathers, but I have found them out to be devils, who lured me by way of this beautiful apparition until I believed them. But now I ask you, O Elohim, to deliver me from this race, among whom I am now staying, as you did deliver me from those devils." Send your messenger to pull me out of the middle of them. I do not have the power within myself to escape from among them." When Yared had ended his prayer, Elohim sent his messenger into the middle of them, and he took Yared and set him up on the mountain, and showed him the way, and he gave him wise advice, and then departed from him. The second book of Adam and Hawwah, Adam and Eve 2, chapter 18. The children of Yared were in the habit of visiting him hour after hour to receive his berakah and to ask his advice for everything they did, and when he had work to do, they did it for him. But this time when they went into the cave, they did not find Yared, but they found the lamp put out, and the bodies of the fathers thrown about, and voices came from them by the power of Elohim that said, "Satan in an apparition has deceived our son, wishing to destroy him as he destroyed our son Cain." They said also, "Yahweh, Elohim of the Shamayim and earth, deliver our son from the hand of Satan, who produced such a great and false specter before him." They also spoke of other matters by the power of Elohim. But when the children of Yared heard these voices, they feared and stood weeping for their father, because they did not know what had happened to him. And they wept for him that day until the setting of the sun. Then Yared came with a mournful expression, miserable in mind and body, and sorrowful at having been separated from the bodies of his fathers. But as he came near the cave, his children saw him and ran to the cave and hugged his neck, crying and saying to him, "O Father, where have you been, and why have you left us? Because we know you did not want to." And they spoke again, saying, "Father, when you disappeared, the lamp over the bodies of our fathers went out, and the bodies were thrown about, and voices came from them." When Yared heard this, he was sorry, and went into the cave, and there found the bodies thrown about, the lamp put out, and the fathers themselves praying for his deliverance from the hand of Satan. Then Yared fell upon the bodies and embraced them and said, "My fathers, through your intercession, Elohim delivered me from the hand of Satan. I beg you to ask Elohim to keep me and to hide me from him to the day of my death." Then all the voices ceased except the voice of our father Adam, who spoke to Yared by the power of Elohim, just as one would speak to his friend, saying, "Yared, my son, offer gifts to Elohim for having delivered you from the hand of Satan, and when you bring those offerings, offer them on the same altar on which I gave offerings. Even then you must beware of Satan, for he deluded me many a time with his specters, wishing to destroy me, but Elohim delivered me out of his hand. Command your people that they put on their guard against him and never cease to offer up gifts to Elohim." Then the voice of Adam also became silent, and Yared and his children wondered at this. Then they laid the bodies as they were at first, and Yared and his children stood praying the entire night until break of day. Then Yared made an offering and offered it up on the altar as Adam had commanded him. And as he went up to the altar, he prayed to Elohim for mercy and for forgiveness of his sin concerning the lamp going out. Then Elohim appeared to Yared on the altar and berakah him and his children, and accepted their offerings, and commanded Yared to take of the sacred fire from the altar and light the lamp that shed light on the body of Adam. The second book of Adam and Hawwah, Adam and Eve 2, chapter 19. Then Elohim again revealed to him the promise he had made to Adam. He explained to him the 5,500 years and revealed to him the mystery of his bane coming to the earth. And Elohim said to Yared, "Let that fire you have taken from the altar to light the lamp abide with you to give light to the bodies. Do not let it come out of the cave until the body of Adam comes out. But Yared, take care of the fire so that it burns brightly in the lamp. Do not go out of the cave again until you received an order through a vision, and not in an apparition you see." Then command your people again not to have relations with the children of Cain, and not to learn their ways. For I am Elohim, who does not love hatred and works of iniquity. Elohim also gave many other commandments to Yered, and he beraked him, and then withdrew his word from him. Then Yered came near to his children, took some fire, and came down to the cave, and lighted the lamp in front of the body of Adam. Then he gave his people the commandments, just as Elohim had told him to do. This sign happened to Yered at the end of his 450th year, as did many other wonders we did not record, but we record only this one for the sake of brevity, to shorten our written account. And Yered continued to teach his children 80 years. But after that they began to break the commandments he had given them, and to do many things without his permission. They began to go down from the Kodesh mountain, one after another, and mix with the children of Cain in obscene association. Now the reason the children of Yered went down the Kodesh mountain will now be revealed to you. The second book of Adam and Hawwah, Adam and Eve 2, chapter 20. After Cain had gone down to the land of dark soil, and his children had multiplied, there was one of them whose name was Genun, son of Lamech the blind, who slew Cain. Satan came to Genun in his childhood, and made a variety of trumpets and horns and string instruments, cymbals and psalteries and lyres and harps and flutes. And Genun played them at all times and at every hour. And when he played them, Satan came to them, so that from among them were heard beautiful and sweet sounds that seized the heart with delight. Then he gathered many crowds to play on them, and when they played, it greatly pleased the children of Cain, who fanned themselves to flames of sin among themselves, and they burned with fire, while Satan inflamed their hearts with one another, and lust increased among them. Satan also taught Genun to make strong drink out of corn. Genun used this to bring together crowd upon crowd in houses of drink, and brought into their hands all kinds of fruits and flowers, and they drank together. Genun did this to multiply sin greatly. He also acted with pride, and taught the children of Cain to commit all manner of the grossest wickedness, which they did not know until then. And he put them up to all kinds of deeds, which they did not know of before. Then when Satan saw that they obeyed Genun and listened to him in everything he told them, he rejoiced greatly, and he increased Genun's understanding until he took iron and with it made weapons of war. Then when they were drunk, hatred and murder increased among them. One man would use violence against another, and Satan would teach him evil in that one man would take the other man's children and defile them before him. And when men saw they were vanquished, and saw that others were not beaten, those who were beaten came to Genun and took refuge with him, and he made them part of his group. Then sin increased among them greatly, until a man married his own sister or daughter or mother or others, or the daughter of his father's sister, so that there was no more distinction of relationship, and they could no longer discern what was sin and what was not, but always were wicked, and the earth was defiled with sin. And they angered Elohim, the judge, who had created them. But Genun gathered together groups and groups that played on horns and on all the other instruments we have already mentioned at the foot of the Kodesh mountain. They did that so the children of Sheth who were on the Kodesh mountain would hear it. But when the children of Sheth heard the noise, they wondered and came by companies and stood on the top of the mountain to look at those below. This went on an entire year. At the end of that year, Genun saw that they were being won over to him little by little. Satan entered into him and taught him to make the elements for dyeing garments of various patterns, and made him understand how to dye crimson and purple and whatnot. And the sons of Cain who worked at all of this shone in beauty and gorgeous apparel, and they gathered together at the foot of the mountain in splendor, with horns and gorgeous dresses and horse races, and they were committing all manner of disgusting acts. Meanwhile, the children of Sheth, who were on the Kodesh mountain, prayed and praised Elohim in the place of the hosts of messengers who had fallen. Elohim had called them messengers because he rejoiced over them greatly. But after this time, they no longer kept his commandment, nor were held by the promise he had made to their fathers. But they relaxed from their fasting and praying, and from the counsel of Yered their father. And they kept on gathering together on the top of the mountain to watch the children of Cain from morning until evening. And they watched what they did, and they looked at their beautiful dresses and ornaments. Then the children of Cain looked up from below and saw the children of Sheth standing in numbers on the top of the mountain, and they called to them to come down to them. But from above them the children of Sheth said, "We don't know the way." Then Genun the son of Lamech heard them say they did not know the way, and he began to think to himself of ways he might bring them down. Then Satan appeared to him by night, saying, "There is no way for them to come down from the part of the mountain on which they live, but when they come out tomorrow, say to them, 'Come to the western side of the mountain. There you will find a stream of water that comes down to the foot of the mountain between two hills. That marks the way. Come down that way to us.'" Then when it was day, Genun blew the horns and beat the drums below the mountain as he was accustomed to do. The children of Sheth heard it and came as they used to do. Then Genun said to them from down below, "Go to the western side of the mountain. There you will find the way to come down." But when the children of Sheth heard these words from him, they went back into the cave to Yered to tell him all they had heard. Then when Yered heard it, he was grieved because he knew that they would defy his wishes. After this, 100 men of the children of Sheth gathered together and said among themselves, "Come, let us go down to the children of Cain and see what they do and enjoy ourselves with them." But when Yered heard this of the 100 men, his very soul was moved, and his heart was grieved. He then stood with great emotion in the middle of them, and earnestly compelled them by the blood of Hevel the just, and said, "Let no one of you go down from this Kodesh and pure mountain in which our fathers have ordered us to live." But when Yered saw that they did not listen to his words, he said to them, "My good, innocent, and Kodesh children, you must understand that once you go down from this Kodesh mountain, Elohim will not allow you to return to it again." He again adjured them, saying, "I plead with you by the death of our father Adam, and by the blood of Hevel, of Sheth, of Enosh, of Canaan, of Mahalalel, to listen to me. Do not go down from this Kodesh mountain, because the moment you leave it, life and mercy will be taken from you, and you shall no longer be called children of Elohim, but children of the devil." But they would not listen to his words. Hanoch was already grown up at that time, and in his zeal for Elohim he stood and said, "Hear me, you large and small sons of Sheth. When you transgress the commandment of our fathers and go down from this Kodesh mountain, you shall not come up here again forever." But they rose up against Hanoch and would not listen to his words, but they went down from the Kodesh mountain. And when they looked at the daughters of Cain, at their beautiful figures, and at their hands and feet dyed with color, and the tattoos on their faces that ornamented them, the fire of sin was set ablaze in them. Then Satan made them look most beautiful before the sons of Sheth, as he also made the sons of Sheth appear the most handsome in the eyes of the daughters of Cain, so that the daughters of Cain lusted after the sons of Sheth like ravenous beasts, and the sons of Sheth lusted after the daughters of Cain until they committed disgusting and disgraceful acts with them. But after they had fallen into this defilement, they returned by the way they had come, and tried to ascend the Kodesh mountain. But they could not, because the stones of that Kodesh mountain were on fire, flashing before them, and prevented them so that they could not go up again. And Elohim was angry with them and turned from them because they had come down from esteem, and because of this had lost and forsaken their own purity and innocence, and were fallen into the defilement of sin. Then Elohim sent his word to Yered, saying, These of your children, whom you once called my children, have broken my commandments, and have gone down to the house of damnation and sin. Send a messenger to those that are left, so that they will not go down and be lost. Then Yered wept before Yahweh, and asked him for mercy and forgiveness. But he wanted that his soul might depart from his body rather than hear these words from Elohim about his children that went down from the Kodesh mountain. But he followed Elohim's order and preached to them not to go down from that Kodesh mountain and not to hold relations with the children of Cain. But they did not listen to his message, and they would not obey his advice. The second book of Adam and Hawwah, Adam and Eve 2, chapter 21. After this, another group gathered together and went to look after their brothers, but they perished with them as well. And so it was, company after company, until only a few of them remained. Then Yered was sickened with grief, and his sickness was such that the day of his death was near. Then he called Hanoch his eldest son, and Methuselah Hanoch's son, and Lamech the son of Methuselah, and Noach the son of Lamech. And when they came to him, he prayed over them and berakah them, and said to them, You are righteous, innocent sons. Do not go down from this Kodesh mountain, because you have seen your children and your children's children have gone down from this Kodesh mountain, and have alienated themselves from this Kodesh mountain through their reprehensible lust and transgression of Elohim's commandment. But I know through the power of Elohim that he will not leave you on this Kodesh mountain. Your children have transgressed his commandments and that of our fathers, which we had received from them. But my sons, Elohim will take you to a strange land, and you shall never return to see this garden and this Kodesh mountain with your own eyes once again. Therefore, my sons, set your hearts on your own selves, and keep the commandment of Elohim which is with you. And when you go from this Kodesh mountain into a strange land which you do not know, take the body of our father Adam with you, and with it take these 3 precious gifts and offerings, namely the gold, the incense, and the myrrh, and let them be in the place where the body of our father Adam shall lay. And my sons, of you who are left, the word of Elohim will come, and when he goes out of this land, he shall take with him the body of our father Adam, and shall lay it in the middle of the earth, the place in which deliverance shall be worked out. Then Noach said to him, Who is he of us that shall be left? And Yered answered, You are he that shall be left, and you shall take the body of our father Adam from the cave, and place it with you in the ark when the flood comes. And your son Shem, who shall come out of your loins, it is he who shall lay the body of our father Adam in the middle of the earth, in the place where salvation shall come. Then Yered turned to his son Hanoch and said to him, My son, abide in this cave and minister diligently before the body of our father Adam all the days of your life, and feed your people in righteousness and innocence. And Yered said no more. His hands went limp, his eyes closed, and he entered into rest like his fathers. His death took place in the 360th year of Noach, and in the 989th year of his own life, on the 12th of 9th month, on a 6th day. But as Yered died, tears streamed down his face by reason of his great sorrow for the children of Sheth who had fallen in his days. Then Hanoch, Methuselah, Lamech, and Noach, these 4 wept over him, embalmed him carefully, and then laid him in the cave of treasures. Then they rose and mourned for him 40 days. And when these days of mourning were ended, Hanoch, Methuselah, Lamech, and Noach remained in sorrow of heart, because their father had departed from them and could not see him again. The second book of Adam and Hawwah, Adam and Eve 2, chapter 22. Henoch kept the commandments of Yared his father and continued to minister in the cave. Many wonders happened to this man, Henoch, and he also wrote a celebrated book, but those wonders may not be told in this place. Then after this, the children of Sheth, as well as the children and their wives, went astray and fell. And when Henoch, Methuselah, Lamech, and Noah saw them, their hearts suffered because of their fall, which filled them with doubt and unbelief. And they wept and sought of Elohim mercy to preserve them and to bring them out of that wicked generation. Henoch continued in his ministry before Yahweh 385 years, and at the end of that time he became aware through the favor of Elohim that Elohim intended to remove him from the earth. He then said to his son, "O my son, I know that Elohim intends to bring the waters of the flood on the earth and destroy his creation. And you are the last rulers over the people on this mountain, and I know that not one will be left for you to have children on this Kodesh mountain. Not one of you will rule over the children of his people. No great number of you will be left on this mountain." Henoch also said to them, "Watch over your souls, and hold tight to your fear of Elohim and your service to him, and worship him in righteous belief, and serve him in righteousness, innocence, and judgment. Worship him in repentance and in purity." When Henoch had ended his commandments to them, Elohim transported him from that mountain to the land of High, to the mansions of the righteous and of the chosen ones, which is the abode of paradise, of joy, in light that reaches up to the Shamayim. It is the light that is beyond the light of this world. It is the light of Elohim that fills the whole world, and no place can contain. Henoch was in the light of Elohim, and because of this he found himself out of the grasp of death until Elohim would have him die. Altogether, not one of our fathers or of their children remained on that Kodesh mountain except those three, Methuselah, Lamech, and Noah. All the rest went down from the mountain and fell into sin with the children of Cain, and they were forbidden to come back to that mountain. And none remained on it but those three men.